All right. This is the Disney Spirits Podcast, episode 4 for May 16th, 2020. Joe, how's it going? We're coming to you live from video.
Gary, what's up? We are. We get to see our made-for-radio faces.
That's right. Our made-for-radio faces without YouTube. So if you're listening to this on your favorite podcasting, jump over to YouTube. Check us out.
Yeah.
We are. You can see our faces, whether or not you want to do that.
We hope you've seen them already on our drink videos, but
right.
If you haven't, you can catch them on this week's podcast.
That's right. So I'm Gary. That's Joe. We love podcasts. We love theme parks and cocktails. We
love podcasts, but we love theme parks and cocktails. Obviously, Gary's already had some cocktails, and life is better when the two things are put together.
That's right. So I'm jumping ahead, Joe, but we have a giveaway. I'm all excited about.
We got a giveaway. So
what is our giveaway?
Our giveaway is this hat.
Very nice. I want to win that hat. I like that hat.
You cannot win that hat, Gary. But any of our listeners and viewers can win that hat, and they can win it by going onto iTunes and liking, sharing, commenting, email us. Just let us know that you're listening and you like our podcast, and you're in the hat to win the drawing.
Excellent. Yeah, whatever it takes to just comment, like, subscribe, remind, now on YouTube, all that stuff. Comment, all good things, though. Good things.
Good things, right. Yeah, we don't want to hear anything negative. No, there's enough negativity going on right now.
That's for certain. So, yeah, we have, feel free to email us at thedisneyspirits@gmail.com. Check out our channel on YouTube, The Disney Spirits. Oh, we're on Twitter also at Disney_Spirits. We're on Facebook. Spotify, iTunes, Facebook. Mm-hmm. What else are we on? We're on everything.
We're on everything.
Podbean. Yep.
Podbean. Yep. Podbean.
Find us. Comment. Drop us a line. Let us know you're out there.
Let us know what you want to hear us talk about.
Yeah. Any comments? Suggest a show. Any questions maybe we can answer?
Suggest a drink?
Yeah. It's a big one.
That's
Suggest
right.
a drink maybe we'd like. Yeah. So another exciting thing, Joe, we have a sponsor.
We do. We have a sponsor.
Our sponsor?
Yeah, our sponsor is Dreamport Creative Studios, and they're on Etsy and Redbubble. And they have around the world lanyards and other Disney themed downloadables, as well as craft brew themed stickers and t-shirts. So yet another entity that combines Disney and drinking. So they're right in our wheelhouse, Gary. It's the perfect sponsor for us.
Match made in heaven right there.
Check them out. They have some really cool stuff.
Excellent. So I've already taken a sip of my drink, which typically happens, but let's talk about our drinks. Let's talk about our drinks this week. Make sure you hop over to YouTube and look at our drink creation videos. This time I made the Sour Assistant, Joe. It's one of my favorite bars.
Your favorite number one bar. Your number one
That's
bar.
Right.
Yep.
If you listen to a previous podcast, we talk about our 5 favorite bar atmospheres, and my number 1 was the Abracadabra bar, and that is where the Sour Assistant is made. It is essentially whiskey sour. Fantastic. At Disney, it's made with Brookhillen. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Brookhillen Distilling 77 whiskey from upstate New York. And their Abracadabra bar is house-made sweet and sour. It's garnished with a Luxardo cherry. And for the most part, it's $15 on the menu. I was corrected by Joe. It is $15. I think I was looking last podcast. I think I quoted it was $12.50. I think I have it in the script also that it was $12.50. It's $15. Inflation. Prices go up. That's what happens.
Yeah, it's still a great deal. Still a great deal.
Still a great deal. It's great drinks. The bartenders, the servers, they're fantastic. They always they make a good balanced drink. And sometimes some people say it's a little heavy-handed. Not for me. So
No,
I love it. It's perfect.
I'm all
You wanna
about
taste the
heavy-handed.
whiskey. You want to taste the drink. Yep.
Yep. My
That's my
drink,
drink.
Gary's drink, is an awesome drink. Love it. My drink comes from the same bar, Abracadabra on the boardwalk, and it's the Magichattan. It's the Abracadabra's riff on a Manhattan. And at the Abracadabra, they use Hudson Manhattan rye whiskey, which is 100% rye whiskey, and Carpano Antica Formula Vermouth, which you'll find all around Disney. And it's the
Favorite.
best red vermouth around.
Yep.
Like try them. Go try every single one, and you'll come back to this one. It costs twice as much, but it's worth it. And they usually you would put Angostura bitters in a Manhattan, but they don't call for it because they're using 100% rye, so it's got a lot of rye spice to it, so it's doesn't really need the bitters. So, and it's a great drink, and it's $15 as well.
Joe, I notice it's all small bottles. That Hudson Manhattan rye whiskey comes in a small bottle. Carpano Antica comes in a small bottle. And
Yeah,
bitters come in a small bottle. It's all small bottles.
Yeah, 375 milliliters. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The small bottle. The stuff is expensive when it comes in the bottle like that. The small bottle.
Exactly. All right. So 2 great drinks going on, and make sure you hop out to our YouTube channel and check out how we made these drinks. We make some fun videos out there. We're putting together a lot of things on our channel, and we now have a podcast on our channel. So make sure you visit.
Check it out.
So Joe, you had a correction.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I was going to say one thing I wanted to mention from the last podcast is that when we were talking about our drinks, one of the ingredients in my drink, Dark and Tropical Stormy, was falernum, which is like a tiki syrup, or sometimes a liqueur. But I was using organ. Yeah, right. Gary said his falernum was aching. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, my falernum. Jeez.
Anyway, but I mentioned that I was using Fee Brothers, and that also I said RJ Reynolds makes a good one. Well, RJ Reynolds is, of course, a huge tobacco conglomerate. It's not RJ Reynolds, it's BG Reynolds that makes a lot of tiki syrups, and they're all house made and really good. So check them out. They sell them on Amazon. You find them online.
Yeah, I've actually never seen falernum. I don't think in my my local liquor stores here, but looks like you have to jump online for that stuff.
Yeah, you're not going to find falernum probably in your local liquor store. I don't even think Total Wine has it. You pretty much have to find it online at a place like Amazon has it. They have the Fee Brothers if you want that. They have the BG Reynolds as well. It's a little more expensive, but it's all natural ingredients and no preservatives. So yeah,
We'll have to throw some links in the notes.
They do it. Total Wine does have the Velvet Falernum, which is the liqueur, which has like a rum base to it, but it's a little bit different.
Cool. All right, so let's. You ready to move on to news?
Let's move on to news. Yeah, sure. Not much news. We're going to talk about some reopenings. That's really the only news that's out there right now. Shanghai Disney reopened. 24,000 is the capacity out of a potential 80,000. So that's the maximum right now. And everyone's going to have to wear masks, and there's temperature checks, and there's going to be social distancing. And of course, you're going to have to make a reservation or buy a ticket. The tickets with the 24,000 capacity for the very first few days sold out right away. So far, it seems like this is going very well for Disney, which bodes well for their domestic parks. Yeah, when they eventually open. So hopefully we get a similar result here.
There's a bunch of videos on YouTube about all the social distancing stuff they're doing, like all these people on Main Street standing in their little boxes to watch the parade go by. It was kind of strange to see, but I mean, it's a good thing. Everyone's really sort of following the rules there, and hopefully, like you said, it bodes well for
Right.
opening the other parks. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they're pretty simple rules to follow, and if you want to go to Disney, that's what you got to do right now. So
follow the rules. Yeah. So Disney Springs open May 20th. Some non-Disney stores and restaurants, but for the most part, it's all the Disney stores, correct? All the Disney-owned properties.
Well, right. It's actually it's all the non-Disney. Quite a few non-Disneys that have opened on May 20th. They're opening on May 20th, and then the Disney ones will follow on May 27th. So
that's right. I had that backwards.
Yeah. So, and there again are going to be temperature checks. There's going to be plexiglass screens. Masks are going to be required. There's going to be social distancing measures. At Disney Springs, and but hopefully all goes well, and when that finally reopens. And City Walk, Universal City Walk has reopened and has already been open, and if you go online, you'll see there's been quite large crowds, and they've got the same restrictions as Disney Springs. So, and they're doing temperature checks and all the same restrictions as Disney Springs. So that's going well. So, that bodes well for when, of course, we still haven't heard when the theme parks are going to reopen, but, we'll see.
Yep. So multiple Six Flags parks are, indicated that reservations are going to be required, namely Magic Mountain and Great Adventure. Great Adventure's drive-through safari is now open, which I guess you have no choice but to socially distance in cars. If you don't socially distance, there's a whole different problem.
If you open your windows, I guarantee you the baboons will not socially distance. They'll be right in your car, no problem. I've been through that drive-through safari.
It is
an experience. Yes, it is. Yeah, if you care about the finish of your car, don't go through the monkey area.
Anyway. Yeah, it's nice that there's an option not
to. There's a warning sign right at the outside. It's like, if you care about your car, don't go through here. Yeah, my friend had a Honda Accord. This was quite a while back, and it had like a rubber strip on the roof. There was one on each side of the car, and one of the monkeys jumped up on the top of the car and just he picked that rubber strip up and just ripped it right off. I mean, you're talking about some strength there.
It's funny you mentioned that because way back in the day, my dad had a T-Bird, a Thunderbird, one of those old. I can't tell you the year, but basically the front, the hood of it had to be 15 feet long. One of those.
2 zip codes.
Yeah, exactly. It had vinyl as part of the roof, and they wouldn't let us go through the monkey part because the monkeys love to tear up the vinyl and eat the glue underneath.
Oh yeah.
So they're like, "No, you can't go through here with a vinyl roof." In retrospect, as you drive along, these guys are like in the monkey cage. There's covered with monkeys, and you're just watching, cars get
torn apart, pretty much torn apart.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, but that's open now. So if you want to get your car torn apart by monkeys, you're free to do that now. SeaWorld and Cedar Fair, on the other hand, they have not announced any reopening plans as of yet, but I would guess they're probably going to have similar measures to everybody else. We don't know if they're going to have reservations though. So we'll see, whether Knott's Berry Farm and Cedar Point and SeaWorld and Orlando and San Diego and Texas and Busch Gardens are going to have any kind of reservation system. So we don't know as of yet.
See how that whole reservation system things work. I'm curious as to how it's going to work out.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, how is it going to work? How's it going to work with annual pass holders? How's it going to work, with people that buy day tickets as opposed to annual pass holders? I mean, who's going to get the priority? Who's going to get the priority, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So
we've heard nothing. Normally they're pretty good with information, but we've heard nothing about our annual passes. We bought ahead, obviously, from the previous year. Yeah. Who knows what's going to be happening? Yeah.
As far as SeaWorld goes, the only thing we've heard is that, they're going to extend our passes, of course, and then we're getting they're upgrading our level of pass. So we're gold, so we're going to be platinum. Anybody who's silver is going to be gold, and that's going to go till the end of the year. So that's a pretty good good perk. Yeah. I mean, I haven't actually confirmed this yet, but I'm gold. I would imagine we're going to be platinum, and then if I'm platinum, that means that opens up all the other busch parks in the country. Because when you're platinum, you have a pass for all of those. So perhaps I'll have a pass for Busch Gardens in Tampa and Williamsburg and everything for the rest of the year. So, yeah,
we'll meet in Williamsburg. We do Loch Ness Monster.
We'll meet there. Absolutely. Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah,
gotta love it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
One of the best.
So another bit of news: the NBA and Major League Soccer have proposals to play the entire season at Disney's Wide World of Sports. No fans, just playing at Wide World of Sports. Wide World of Sports is a really cool place, by the way. Have you ever been through that whole area?
It is. Yeah, I have. Back in the day when we had what they would call premium annual passes, and it included all the water parks and even Discovery Island, which is another podcast, right? And everything. Discovery. And Wide World of Sports was included in that. And Wide World of Sports with the field house and all the different soccer fields. It's perfect for Major League Soccer because they have so many soccer fields. In fact, the Orlando City franchise, when they were before they joined MLS, they actually played a season at Wide World of Sports. So they have hosted not Major League Soccer, but professional soccer before. But and the NBA, I mean, it's Disney. They have all the TV, TV capabilities, the lighting, and everything that's necessary right there at Wide World of Sports. And I know they have multiple courts. So who knows? Seems like I don't know. I think it's much more likely that that happens with Major League Soccer than it does with the NBA. But who knows? Yeah.
Interesting times.
It is. It's interesting.
When I did the Disney marathon, you ran through basically almost all of that, as I remember. Yep. Yeah, yep. It was a long slog through all that.
Yeah. Did you? Well, of course, then they had the expo at the field house at Wide World of Sports too. So yeah. Yep. Yeah, the marathon is a long slog. Better you than me, my friend.
I've done one. One was good. We'll see.
We were following you around in the buses. That's more my style.
Yeah.
I'll do 5Ks. That's it. So our next item, Universal's Epic Universe, which is their third or fourth theme park, depending on whether you consider Volcano Bay to be a theme park, or I don't really. I consider it a water park, so say third theme park. So Universal's Epic Universe will not resume construction until the economy rebounds. So there's one big casualty right there. They had initially announced there was going to be a 1-year delay. Instead of 2023, it was going to open in 2024. And now they say they're not even going to restart construction on it until the economy rebounds. So depending on when that is, it could end up being it could possibly still be 2024, but it might be much later or even much later than that. So, it's there's going to be more. There's going to be more casualties, I'm sure.
Yeah, without a doubt. How far did Epic Universe get along? I think I could be confusing a few things because I look at so much stuff on the internet in regards to this stuff. But I saw was there they had roller coaster track piled up in places, right?
No, that's for the Jurassic Park coaster.
You're right.
Yeah, the Raptor coaster. That's moving forward right now. In fact, construction is still going on.
It never stopped, right?
It had never stopped. That's one project that has never stopped. And all the coaster track is there, all the Intamin track. I was actually watching a video today from Midway Mayhem. He's got some great updates for the different theme parks. If you're a fan of the Busch parks and Universal, he does a lot of updates. Not too many people are covering the Busch park, and he's covering their projects extensively. So check out Midway Mayhem. But his video showed all the coaster track for that is in place, not in place, but it's on the
it's there. It's
the
on
storage
premises.
lot. It's on the storage lot.
Yeah.
They're loading up trucks, flatbeds every day and bringing them over to the site and installing the track. So that's going on. But as far as Epic Universe goes, we stay at a hotel that's really close to the site quite a bit, and there's a lot of earth moving going on. I could tell you that. They've completely graded out and built up the site, but I don't think there's any vertical construction going on yet. It's really just land prep right now.
Yeah.
So
I guess it's a good time to stop if you have to.
Yeah,
before
exactly.
half the buildings get put up, and then have to, who knows what happens when they're in the elements, and they have parts of them have to come down, or who knows. But now's the time to
this is Florida.
Pause work.
Yeah, this is Florida. There's mold here.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't want to end our news on a bad note, but I guess all our news lately has been a bad news kind of. But Fred Willard passed away today, 87 years old, the CEO of By and Large.
By and Large. WALL-E, my favorite Pixar movie.
Agreed, hands down, my favorite. My Roomba, my robot vacuum cleaner is named Mo. So
yeah. I mean, it's just it was. I like I said. I think I told you before. I know I went to see it in the theater at least twice, maybe 3 times, and I don't think I've gone to see anything multiple times in the theater since the original Star Wars or the Empire Strikes Back. So that's saying how much I really like WALL-E. Yeah, it was. It was brilliant, I thought.
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, I love that movie. I've watched it a ton of times, and luckily my daughter loves it too, so works out. So I can always just grab her.
That's always good.
Hey, let's watch WALL-E. Exactly. Works out.
Yeah.
So Fred Willard passed away today, 87 years old.
Yep. I remember him from that old NBC show, Real People. That's the first thing that came to my mind was that, but he was in so many other different things. So Spinal Tap.
Oh yeah, Spinal Tap.
Yep.
We were saying earlier, he's awesome in all those. Like, geez, now I can't even come up with them. But what's it like? I'm drawing a total blank.
That's it. That's going to be in the next podcast now.
Yeah. I'll list out all the things that I was remembering that I was trying to remember.
Yeah, that happens. That happens. The Sour Assistant is in your head, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens. So should we move on to our top 5? We'll kind of get a look at a better note.
Yep. Let's move on to the top 5s because these are our top 5 most underrated attractions. Last time we did the most overrated attractions, which we both agreed. It was kind of difficult to come up with overrated attractions. We like most of the stuff that Disney does, but the underrated attraction was a hard one because I had a long list because there's a lot of attractions I think that don't get the due that they probably deserve.
Totally agree. And like you said, this one was hard for me. Yeah. I went through my list a couple different iterations of my list. I've added, subtracted again, added more. And even in things that you and I have talked about, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that happened to me too. I mean, I finally had to, put my foot down and say, that's it. This is my list. Yeah. And, I mean, if there's any, honorable mentions, fine, they're honorable mentions, but this is, you gotta, that's why it's a top 5. It's not a top 20.
That's right.
We could make it a top 20 , folks. But you wouldn't want
a 4-hour podcast. We could do that. 4 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe more. Anyway.
So, like the last one, why are we doing this?
Right.
like our thought on this is to, like, if you're planning a vacation, we just want to help out a little bit. What are sort of the must-dos, something you might overlook and shouldn't, like, this ride maybe doesn't hit the top of the list of a lot of people. You may never see videos on YouTube about it and stuff, but don't miss it. It's awesome. There's so many good parts about it. So,
so like I was saying, are these our favorite attractions? Not necessarily. In some cases, yes. In some cases, maybe not. But we feel like these are ones that are excellent, but are overlooked a lot and overshadowed in some cases.
Yeah.
So. And again, this is just our opinion, so don't, we don't want any angry emails.
Yeah, no angry emails. Feel free. We'll discuss if you want to discuss.
Discuss. Sure, absolutely.
No angry emails.
If you feel, if you disagree with us, of course, let us know. But we'll be happy to discuss it with you. But of course, we're going to give you our reasons when we give our picks. So let's move on to the picks, huh?
So I think you went first last time, so I think it's my turn to go first.
You can go first. Yes,
either way,
absolutely.
I'm going first. So I'm ready to talk about top 5 underrated attraction. My number 5, Mickey's Philharmagic.
All right, Gary.
See if you had it.
Gary, I got to tell you.
Just waiting to see your reaction to that. Yeah.
This is my number 4. So we match up yet again.
We have to say that we never talk about our list beforehand, so we can be surprised and have like open conversation about this. So yeah, your number 4, my number 5.
All right.
A little bit about Mickey's Philharmagic, 4D film attraction, which is 3D film, but the 4th D is air blown at you, water. There's animatronics.
Some smells. There's some animatronics. Yeah, there's some animatronics in it.
Yeah. It's in Walt Disney World Resort, Hong Kong Disney, Tokyo Disney, Disneyland Paris, and Disney's California Adventure at one part or another. The film was directed by George Scribner. Did you know that one?
I did
Oliver
not.
Company. He's did Oliver and Company.
I like Oliver and Company. At least I'm one person who likes it.
Yeah, you're the only one. It runs through a bunch of Disney characters. The old stuff, the new stuff. Sorcerer's Apprentice, Little Mermaid, Aladdin,
Lion King.
Yep. So one of the things that's funny is that Mickey Mouse is the main, the title bearing character. Mickey Mouse's Philharmagic.
It should be Donald's Philharmagic.
It's Donald. Donald started. He's the star of the show.
Yep.
Yeah. And which is awesome because Donald's always looking for that respect.
Yep.
Donald's current voice actor was the one who actually did the voice for Donald, but there's only 5 lines. Only 5 new lines.
Yeah, it's mostly not silent, of course. It's mostly musical. It's a musical, and it's got a lot of Disney magic, in my opinion.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I picked it. As for my number 4, I considered It's Tough to Be a Bug over at Animal Kingdom, but that's about one movie, and this has so many different Disney movies in it. Oh, yeah. And it's just, I remember when it opened, before it where it is in the Fantasy Fair Theater over there in the Magic Kingdom in Fantasyland, The Legend of the Lion King was there. And when that closed, and I really liked that, and when that closed and they were going to bring Mickey's Philharmagic, I don't think many people expected much, especially when they heard it was going to be a 4D film or whatever. But I think when it opened, everybody was really pleasantly surprised. It's just one of those attractions that, it sounds corny, but it's filled with like Disney magic.
Doesn't sound corny to me, Joe.
Yeah,
because that's exactly it. That's one of the reasons I love it, because it's all Disney, characters, Disney, feelings. It's all. Yeah, it's really.
It's got the highlights from all those movies that you mentioned, and it just runs. Donald, is trying. He is conducting Mickey's orchestra. He gets mad at Mickey's hat. Right? Or,
Mickey's
no,
flute.
he gets mad at the flute. He gets mad at the flute.
Yeah, the flute.
And starts beating up on it. The rest of the orchestra instruments get mad at him, and he loses the hat, and
hilarity ensues.
And hilarity ensues, right? It gets stolen all over and over again by Iago from Aladdin, and all different characters. Ends up all over the place, and eventually he ends up back at the orchestra, and then Mickey conducts at the end. So
it's great show. To this day, my daughter has to cover her eyes when their corks are popping for some reason.
In the PRS scene.
In the PRS scene was the part where champagne corks are popping at you 3D style, and with blasts of air.
It's pretty convincing. I mean, with the blasts of air, like they're going by your face. I mean, it's very cool. I mean, it's like, it's got Honey, I Shrunk the Audience effects and everything, but it has, like I said, it's tough to be a bug. I considered that for this spot, and I really enjoy that. But that's one movie, and not that popular of a movie as well. But this one, it's just great. I love it.
Yep. So that was my number 5, and your number 4.
My number 4. Yeah. So we matched up yet again. We'll see if we match up one more time.
All right. So what's your number 5, Joe?
All right. My number 5 is going to be, and I don't think we're probably going to match up on this one. I'm going to pick the animal trails and the exhibits in Animal Kingdoms.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. The Maharaja Jungle Trek, the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail, and the Tree of Life Gardens. And I
very
think,
overlooked. Yeah.
They're so,
it is so much an attraction.
They're so much of an attraction. They're always overlooked. I think, everybody knows Kilimanjaro safaris. Everybody knows that. But I think a lot of people think that's the extent of the animals in Animal Kingdom, and that's not. It's not even close. The Maharaja Jungle Trek is themed as the hunting grounds for a wealthy Maharaja who enclosed the forest to allow for easier hunting, and then sometime later died in a hunting accident. Okay, well, I guess.
Awesome backstory. I like that.
That's what happens. There's a little moral, kids. So the subsequent Maharajas have turned this into a nature preserve, and I mean, it's got some. First of all, tigers. The tigers are amazing. Tiger exhibit is amazing.
I didn't want to jump ahead on you, but
the second thing is the bats. I mean, the fruit bats. Every time somebody goes in there with the fruit bats, where they see that there's actually no cage, and he said there's just some wooden studs, where the fruit bats could they're far enough apart where these bats could fly right through, but they don't. But everybody's freaked out by that. A lot of people don't even want to go into the bat area.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, there's secret netting. I didn't want to tell you that, but there's
netting. There's secret netting.
So another thing I wanted to talk about was the tigers, because and you said these were overlooked. We were going through pictures. We're actually talking to one of our friends who were, I think it was their second time, but they were looking at our pictures and they said, "Oh my gosh, where'd you get these pictures of the tigers and the bats?" I'm like, Maharaja Jungle Trek. You missed that.
Jungle Trek. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you totally missed it. Yeah. Although I will say on their it's not I don't want to say it's not well signed, and it's in the map. You could, but for Disney parks, it's not in your face. You sort of have to find it.
Stacy's not saying it on your hotel room. Stacy's not telling you it's a must do. That's for sure.
Stacy.
We won't talk about Stacy.
Yeah.
We won't talk about Stacy, Gary.
Stacy.
Take a sip of your drink.
Yeah.
Good
idea.
So yeah, there's Komodo dragons. I mean, there's so many, and there's an aviary. Each one of these has an amazing aviary area, which is, when we talked about Discovery Island earlier, that's probably one of the reasons there's no. I think Discovery Island closed basically when Disney's Animal Kingdom opened. So these both opened right with the park. The Gorilla Falls, I think, was at opening of Animal Kingdom, called Paganini Forest Exploration Trail, and then I think they changed the name to Gorilla Falls when people really didn't know there was anything back there, because it was Paganini Forest Exploration Trail. But there's gorillas, hippos, meerkats, all sorts of animals, and of course another aviary, and it's just. They're great trails. They're as good as the ones at Busch Gardens, which does a great job with the animals, and the actual exhibits and the areas are. You could tell they put a lot of thought into the way that the animals are. Yep. Yeah. It's done so the animals are, as close as they can be to their natural habitats.
Yeah. And also brings them kind of close to you.
And it does. It's designed for them to be close to you. I mean, when they had the baby gorilla, I mean, it was really cool last year to see the baby gorilla with the mother, and it was awesome. And even around the Tree of Life, there's a lot of animals there. There's otters. There's an otter exhibit now. I always go and see the huge catfish that they have, the Mekong River catfish. That's another great. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean,
ridiculous how big those are.
Unbelievable.
You don't even realize what you're looking at. That is a fish.
Yeah,
I thought that was a gigantic rock.
And even over in Dinoland, I mean, it's not on a trail, but they have the crocodiles, and every once in a while you'll see a little kid look over the fence and see how big the crocodiles are over there. Yeah. But the animal trails are overlooked a lot at Animal Kingdom, as amazing as it sounds. And if you go to Animal Kingdom, it doesn't take a long time to walk down one of these trails, and it's actually it could be the highlight of your trip.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It's awesome. Yeah, it's fantastic. We don't miss them every time we go. We always do it. It's part of the trip.
We always go too. Yep.
Yeah, it's an attraction worth going to. Best part. No lines ever.
No, there's no lines. I mean, that's the thing. These are walk-through trails. You don't have to wait in line. You just walk in and walk by all the different exhibits. And if something interests you, you stop and look at it. If something doesn't interest you, you just move on. And I guarantee you'll find a lot. I guarantee you think you're going to be on the trail for 5 minutes, and you're going to be there for a half an hour or more.
One of the cool things that you hadn't mentioned is that there's a lot of cast members throughout the the trails, and where there's animals, and they're super knowledgeable, always ready to answer questions that you have. Yep. And they have little shows periodically throughout the day where they just grab a mic and start talking about whatever. Quite often it's the meerkats, because I like to stand with the meerkats. So we listen to
they're pretty cool. Meerkats are pretty cool. Yeah. The cast members that are, the animal care cast members will be out there in the front, and they'll grab a mic and start talking. And when they talk on the mic, that's fine, but they're always there to answer questions. Yep. So they'll do a presentation, but there's always someone there to answer questions at every station. So if you have questions about the gorillas or the hippos or the meerkats or the tigers or the bats or anything else on any of these trails, the Komodo dragons, there's going to be somebody there to talk to you about the care of these animals.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent. Number 5.
Yes.
I overlooked that myself. Thank
you, sir. Yeah, that's why it's there. It's always overlooked.
Yeah. So I'll move on to my number 4. My number 4 underrated attraction is the Carousel of Progress. Waiting for your reaction, Joe. All right.
Yeah, that was definitely a contender for mine. Definitely a contender. I ultimately didn't make it, but it was a contender.
To me, Carousel Progress at the Magic Kingdom. To me, this is one of those. It exudes Disney again. This is for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Just like my first pick, my fifth pick. Yeah. This was the right. It's the oldest attraction to be actually touched by Walt Disney. It was in 1964 World's Fair in New York. Opened in Disneyland in 1967. Opened in Disney World in 1974. And this is one of those attractions that Walt Disney, it was near and dear to his heart. He absolutely loved this attraction. He did. It's the capacity is 240 people per show. Did not know that. It seems like seems like more people could be in there.
Well, it rotates quick, and then another 240 people can go in. So it's a high capacity attraction, but it's only 240 per
show.
Right. And then they'll rotate from scene to scene. I mean, it's unique. There's no other attraction like this.
21 minutes long, which never seems like 21 minutes long to me. But it also holds the record as the longest running stage show in the history of American theater.
Yeah.
But so it tells the story of a family through the 1900s, 1920s, 1940s, and then to the 21st century. I won't talk so much about Act 4, the 21st century, because this is the one that causes the most problem.
Well, I gotta say, I think it's unfairly maligned a little bit, because a lot of the things that are in it are things that really only came into being in the last, say, 5 to 10 years or so, voice activated ovens and
the Alexa oven.
Right. And virtual reality video games. But what makes it kind of hilarious is the fashion. The fashion is what dates it.
Yeah, the fashion is bad. Everyone's wearing a turtleneck.
Right, exactly.
But
and acid wash jeans.
Acid wash jeans, yeah. To me, it's the acting, and that final one, it's just it's bad. It's tough. It's tough for me, but it's time for an update for that.
Well, it's definitely time for an update. There's no doubt about that, for sure.
Yeah, but this is one of those you gotta go on it. It's fantastic. It's what it's all about. Walt. It's all about Disney. It's all about looking forward to the future. People in 1900 thinking about all these things like, we don't have kerosene anymore. Now we have 1920s and stuff, and we don't have to. We got an indoor plumbing.
Right. Well, it's one of the great attractions. It almost belongs at Epcot, because it's one of those attractions it's going to teach you something if you didn't already know these things. You might learn something on this attraction, and of course it makes sense because it came from the 1964 World's Fair. And this is not like a rebuilt attraction this is the attraction from the World's Fair.
This was lifted from
this was lifted right from this was lifted from the World's Fair. It went to Disneyland and then ended up in Walt Disney World. Because when Disney built these attractions for the World Fair companies, that was part of his deal. These attractions belong to me, and I'm going to take them to Disneyland afterwards. So this is the actual attraction, and you could learn something from this attraction. I mean, it's if
you're not careful, you might learn something.
You might. The good thing is I love these long attractions, the ones that I know most people think of it as a nap, but it really is a great attraction. I mean,
it is.
It is.
Some people do feel it's a nap, but it's a great, entertaining place to get out of the heat. It's fully air conditioned. Get out of the heat, be entertained, chill out for 20 minutes, where there's not the hustle and bustle outside. The heat, the hustle and bustle. Just sit and enjoy the show, because it's an enjoyable show. And I will tell you, you walking out of the place, you'll be singing the song. There's
You
no
will
doubt
be.
about it.
Sherman Brothers,
Probably
the
maybe for
Sherman
the rest
Brothers
of the
song, right? Yeah.
night.
The Sherman Brothers classic song. But I mean, to me, it belongs in Tomorrowland a lot more than Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor or Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. I think
Yeah.
it really is it is a Tomorrowland type of attraction, or even Epcot, like I said. And that's what I love about it. And like I said, it almost made my list, but not quite.
Yeah, well, all right, we're on to your number 4.
My number 4 is Mickey's Philharmagic. So we're on to your number
Oh,
3.
right. Do you have anything else to add to Mickey's Philharmagic? I think we
Not
talked.
really.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's we both pretty much covered it. We
Yeah.
like it. It's filled with Disney magic. It covers a lot of Disney movies, and it's just a great attraction. And it's overshadowed a lot by the things that are around it. Peter Pan's flight and It's a Small World, yeah, are right there, and people kind of walk right past this, and it's to your detriment if you do, because I think some people might like it better than maybe
Yeah.
either of those attractions. So especially some
So
kids.
on to my number 3. Yeah. Yep. Like I said, my daughter loves it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my number 3. We're moving on to number 3. Number 3 is the Gran Fiesta Tour starring the 3 Caballeros.
Oh,
Moving on
yeah.
to Epcot.
All right.
All right. So this is one of those. This is going to be one of those ones that are going to give me emails.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people don't like this ride, but there's reasons that I think that you should go on this ride. It's in the World Showcase Mexican Pavilion at Epcot. It has an incredible ride capacity, 1,656 riders an hour. By the way,
There's never a line. If there's a line, Epcot's too crowded, and it's going to be food and wine festival. There might be a line, but that's really it.
I'll give you the Disney website's description of this. Inspired by the 1944 Disney film The Three Caballeros, your adventure comes to life against a backdrop of live action footage, hand-drawn animation, and the jaunty musical score from the movie, which is awesome. Another one you'd be saying. Also, I just noticed I'm very Donald-centric in these.
Yeah. That's right. It's your second Donald ride. Yeah.
I must really like Donald. But and this used to be El Rio de Tiempo. El Rio de Tiempo. I'm not good at Spanish.
Yes, that one would be on my list.
I love that ride too. Yeah,
I love that ride. I love the El Rio de Tiempo. Yeah,
one of the only rides that you could take your margarita on. It used to allow drinks on the ride, which was awesome. I swear.
That is fantastic. That should put it at number 1 on our podcast. Yeah. We already did most missed attractions. That should be like our honorary number 1, because we can drink on it.
Well, you used to be able to. Don't try it now. Probably it's up
not
to
anymore.
It's probably up to cast members' discretion. If you're the only person getting on the boat, they might let you out. I'm not saying they will. Don't. Yeah.
Donald ended all that fun.
Yeah, you used to be able to take a drink on, but admittedly, there's not a ton to this ride in the way of excitement. It's not the most exciting boat ride. There's no hills, there's no anything like that.
It's not. It's a slow boat ride. I have no problem with slow boat rides. I like them. I think they're underrated.
Slow boat ride through a number of scenes where the Caballeros, the 2, are looking for Donald. There's the occasional view of Donald. There's a view of the Caballeros looking for him. It's a fun attraction. Lots of color, lots of music, cool fireworks at the end, simulated fireworks. A big ending with the 3 Caballeros singing the song.
The animatronics at the newer animatronics at the end are excellent. Where they have the little concert at the end, it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. All around great attraction. for relaxation.
Yes.
Gets you out of the hustle and bustle. It's air conditioned, obviously. It's inside. It's just relaxing.
It's close. It's close to La Cava de Tequila.
Yeah, you can have a margarita before you get on.
That's right. It's close to the San Angel Inn, so you can have some good food, Mexican food, before you go on it. And
typically not a line.
No,
and the line goes pretty fast.
The atmosphere in the Mexico Pavilion, yes, I love the atmosphere. That is awesome. My big problem with this attraction, Gary, is the Where's Donald storyline.
Oh.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. It's the storyline. Yeah, just the Where's Donald story. But you know what? As the years go by, I have less and less of a problem with it. Maybe it's because I like El Rio de Tiempo so much that I kind of like resented the three Caballeros taking over, but right now it doesn't bother me as much as it used to. But yeah, the Where's Donald storyline used to really bug me. But there is some humor to it. I like when the chef is like, he's like, "Have you seen a duck?" And he opens up and there's the roasted duck, and no, not that duck.
Yeah, there's some humor. I'm not saying it's the most solid storyline ever, but
I will say I don't go by this one. I usually go on it. We don't usually miss this one because, like we're saying, there's no line, and it's relaxing. It's a good ride. It's a good ride. It's got the dolls are very kind of small world. That the section with the dolls.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a good ride. It is. Just like I liked El Rio de Tiempo better.
So did I. I like that. That was awesome. Another song that used to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Stuck in your head.
Yeah, so that's my number 3.
That's a good one. A good number 3. Worthy.
Thank you.
My number 3 is also going to have a song that's going to stick in your head. It's also a slow boat ride, ironically enough. And it's
Does it have Donald?
It does not have Donald, but it has the shaman of songs. It's the Navi River Journey from the Pandora, the World of Avatar at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So this ride opened.
I love this ride.
This ride opened in May 2017 with the rest of Disney's Animal Kingdom. And I think a lot of people were very disappointed with this ride because Avatar Flight of Passage was an immediate hit, and everybody loves a thrill ride and everybody wants to be excited and do something, everybody loves a thrill ride. Something thrilling, exactly.
Yep.
But this is not it's not thrilling at all. And I'll read the Disney description. It says a mystical river ride. Feel a sense of wonder as the full beauty of the extraordinary dreamscape unfolds before your eyes. On this visually stunning and mysterious river, you'll glide through a series of caves and into a bioluminescent rainforest alive with the sights and sounds of exotic plants and creatures on all sides, even overhead. Soon you'll join the legendary Navi, shaman of songs, who demonstrates her deep connection to the life force of Pandora and sends positive energy out into the forest through the power of her music. So one thing is, yes, the ride slowly builds. It's about 5 minutes long, which I think a lot of people had a problem with that too. And if I do have a beef with it, it's that I wish it was longer. I wish it was a little bit longer, maybe a couple minutes longer. But
one of the things that I think gave it the original hit is that it's a 5-minute boat ride and people were waiting.
Right.
It's a not very thrilling.
And here's the thing, right? When I say this is underrated, it is underrated because it's always compared to Flight of Passage. But as far as weights go, you're gonna wait for this. So when I say this is underrated, you're gonna be waiting for this. But if you like the Disney type of slow boat rides and something sedate and for lack of a better word, beautiful, this is it. I mean, it slowly builds. At the beginning, when you get in the boat, you go out into the forest and you see the animals, and there's some above your heads, some little frogs jumping in on leaves, and everything's a project.
Cool effect.
Yeah, it's really cool effects. They're all projections, but you'd be hard pressed to tell they are. There's not really any scary parts on it. There's some viper wolves that come out. That's really the only scary part, but they don't like jump at your boat or anything. They just kind of look at you and
run alongside.
Yeah, occasionally they run alongside your boat, and I think at one point, if you're on the right boat, they might turn and growl, but that's it. There's nothing really that threatening. And you slowly start to hear the shaman of song, the song that plays through the attraction, and it slowly builds and slowly builds. Yeah, right, exactly.
I will sing it for you in a minute. Go ahead.
Gary can sing it for you. And the song was actually, well, first of all, the Shaman of Songs is the most advanced animatronic that Disney ever created. So when you finally get to the end where the Shaman of Songs is, be prepared to be amazed by that.
It is
the animatronic is, you'd be hard pressed to know that it's not a real. If it wasn't a blue cat-like alien, you would think it was a real person.
Yeah.
9 foot tall cat-like alien. But yeah, it's amazing. Actually, the song is written in the Na'vi language that was created by Dr. Paul Fromer, who I believe is a professor from USC, a linguistic professor from USC. So they actually got someone to create the Na'vi language. And I don't know if this was James Cameron who did that, or if it was Disney for the Pandora, the World of Avatar. But I wouldn't doubt it.
For the movie, though.
Yeah. Well, there is. So it probably was James Cameron. But there's actually a translation to the song. So yeah, and it's "Oh Beautiful Forest." There are tears in the forest, wood sprites. We cry out, calling, "Oh Ewa, oh." Times 3.
That's my favorite part.
Connected as one, oh great mother, wood sprites, we cry out calling, oh Ewa, times 3. By the people's will, the forest is singing, wood sprites, we cry out calling, and of course, my Ewa, times 3. So,
I'm disappointed you didn't choose to sing that, Joe.
No, I'm not singing. No,
I'm very disappointed.
I'm sorry. No, I got to draw the line somewhere, Gary. But it's a great song, and it will be in your head. You won't think it's a great song when you're on the attraction, but when you leave the attraction, it will be in your head.
Yeah. Or you could ride with me and I sing it pretty much the whole time.
Or Gary will be singing it right next to you. Yeah.
It definitely helps having a couple of those beers beforehand.
Exactly. If we stop at the Dawa bar beforehand, yeah, we're definitely Gary will definitely be singing the song.
We last time Joe and I were together at the park, we I can't think of the name of the bar now, but it's the Outpost, where you could get the green beer.
Oh, yeah. Not Satuli Canteen, but the...
it's right next to it, though.
It's right next to it, yeah, the Outpost there. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we figured we'd grab a beer and go on the Na'vi River ride. Unfortunately, there was absolutely no line. Nope. So we walked right on, and they said, well, you're going to have to finish those beers. So naturally, what you don't want to throw them out.
We did not pour out those beers. We finished those beers like we were told.
Yeah, and hopped on the ride. And we had, I think there was, maybe 45 minutes before park close.
It was really close to park closing. So we got to, I think we rode it twice.
Oh, was it closer? I thought we rode it 3 times because one time
it was very close.
No sense.
It was close to closing, and I think the first time we rode it, there was no line. The second time we rode it, there was no line, and then we came back, and there was like this long line. There was not a long line, but we had to wait like 10 or 15 minutes, which was like, it didn't make any sense. But anyway, yeah, it was definitely close to park closing, and we got to do it a few times. So if you want to do this without a line, there's your hint.
That's our
Wait,
secret. Yeah.
There's our secret.
Yeah.
Wait until close to park closing. This one usually has
keep an eye on it.
less of a line. Flight of Passage has a line right till the end of the day, but the line is very entertaining if you haven't been on it. So
the line is part of the attraction, definitely.
But this one's overlooked because of that one. And a lot of times people are disappointed because they do wait in the middle of the day for 70, 80, 90 minutes or more for this attraction. And it's just a 5-minute sedate boat ride. But it's the type of ride that Disney does very well. The type of ride that separates Disney from Universal in my book. You won't find a ride like this at Universal. There's nothing sedate. Everything explodes in your face, which I love. Don't get me wrong. I like Universal's rides, but you're not going to find this mix of attractions where, okay, this one's good for, if I want to relax or we want something that we can go on with Grandma, you're not going on the Hulk. You're not going on the Hulk with Grandma.
The Mummy, because it's more sedate.
Or the Mummy. Right? The curse, it's real.
That's awesome. So that's a great one, Joe, because great ride, great attraction. Yeah. Not ride, great attraction.
Great attraction. Yeah. I knew you
that's another
like
one.
That one.
Yeah, that is a great one, and I'll sing it. I'll sing it later on. If I have another Sour Assistant.
After another Sour Assistant, Gary's going to make a separate video where he sings the entire song.
Maybe I will.
Yeah.
So we're moving on to number 2.
Went on to number 2.
Flying through these, But my number 2, you've mentioned a couple times. It's Tough to Be a Bug.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Good one. That was, like I said, that was very close to being in my top 5, and really the only reason is that Mickey's Philharmagic bumped it out, because I kind of was like, all right, well, I got to pick one or the other. So, but I love this. I love this attraction, and it's incredibly overlooked.
Without a doubt, it's it is thrilling. As you were saying,
it is
thrilling. I will say, in a way. The warning on this one is I have seen so many kids be scared of this attraction. I can't even.
Spiders.
There's just so many. Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about the attraction itself. It's a 10-minute long 3D film. I guess 4D.
It's about as 4D as more 4D than Philharmagic probably.
Yeah. Water spraying, smells again. The stink bug smells. Bee stings, sort of. Bugs crawling under your butt.
Exactly.
A lot of effects. Animatronics. A lot goes on. And that kind of brings me to that back to the warning of I've seen kids freak out at this one a lot.
Oh yeah. Even at the end when the maggots crawl under your butt. I mean, I've seen adults freak out. I mean, everybody jumps and laughs. I mean, it's the kind of humor it's the kind of humor that really Disney does so well. It's filled with that kind of humor.
It is. All of that is. So it's the show is given by Flick, and Flick tells you essentially all the good parts of bugs and why bugs should be considered our friends.
Right.
At one point, unfortunately, just like in the movie, a hopper comes down and summons his spider army to attack, and they actually drop down from the ceiling, which is truly terrifying.
That's when the kids are terrified, right? Because before that, right? They show us that. The exterminator, and then from the screen they push and they spray us with bug spray, and so you've got all this mist, and then these spiders come down from the ceiling. It's terrifying. It's terrifying for these poor kids. And the Hopper animatronic is awesome. He's a really great animatronic.
I don't know if he's one of the. He's definitely one of the newer animatronics. He's just fantastic as a bug. It's awesome. He paces back and forth. It's really good.
It's great. It's great. And yeah, it's got a lot of humor.
Yep. A lot of humor.
Stink bug, right? The
blowing stink.
Tarantula
throwing.
Yeah, Cheech Marin as a tarantula.
Yeah.
The
tarantula.
Yep. And it's a great attraction, and it's in the Tree of Life. So as you walk through the queue to get to the attraction, you get to walk by all the amazing carvings that the Imagineers did in the Tree of Life. And it really, I mean, it's one of those attractions that you sometimes you wish you could wait for, because you'd like to look at them a little more in depth, because they're so great. And
the line and the waiting area are both attractions in their own. I would say.
Oh, the movie posters are fantastic. And I love the sound. I love the soundtrack. The music is great. Great. Like I said, it's filled with the type of humor that only Disney does the best. Yeah.
There's the world's biggest dung. The dung ball. That's there.
Yep. Beauty and the Bees, right? Beauty and the Bees.
As you mentioned, the line, the queue before the ride is just as much an attraction, because there's tons of picture spots going through that. The sculptures of the animals that are in the tree, you're up close and personal to them. So a lot of good picture spots to take a lot of really cool pictures.
Yep. You wouldn't see them otherwise unless you walk through this line. So, and folks, this attraction almost always has 15 minutes or less for a line. So, and it's well worth it. It's well worth it. But be forewarned, if you have small children, they may be frightened.
They could be terrified.
Yeah, they could be terrified of the spider scene. But other than that,
my daughter was fine until she was stung in the back by bees.
In the back of the chair.
Back of the chair. Pokes at you.
You're on some benches that are pretty uncomfortable, but they have some effects on them too.
She was poked in the back by a bee, and that was enough. She was in my lap for the rest of the time.
Yep. I've seen that before. I've definitely seen that before.
It's no longer at Disney's California Adventure. It's at Disney's Animal Kingdom and California Adventure, but it was taken out at California Adventure to make way for Avengers Campus.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Which is that going to be delayed? I think that is going to be delayed because of the coronavirus.
That's my understanding. Yeah. And to be honest, in that area of California Adventure, it was in my humble opinion, it was kind of like a throw together. It wasn't a very good area, and
right. As was so much of California Adventure at the beginning. So, and that was a holdover from the very beginning. So,
don't get me wrong, because I love California Adventure. I had that park.
Yeah.
So the 3D film was made by Rhythm and Hughes. It's a big deal because they are big studio. I looked at their filmography. Holy smokes, they pretty much have been involved in everything.
Another interesting fact about it is that of course, when Animal Kingdom was being built, they didn't know what was going to go in the Tree of Life, and then Michael Eisner was the one who suggested that put the attraction based on the movie A Bug's Life, which wasn't even out at the time that Animal Kingdom opened.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So this attraction actually came out before the movie A Bug's Life, where these characters star in.
It was the first Pixar attraction to open at any Disney park. FYI. The more you know.
The more you know. So that's interesting about it. But yeah. So
it's one of my
that Animal Kingdom. It's at Animal Kingdom and nowhere else. So if you want to see it, you got to go to Animal Kingdom. But if you haven't been to Animal Kingdom, you should go to Animal Kingdom because it's a great park and it's only getting better.
It is. Yep. Used to be my half-day park, but now it's full. Plus, we're leaving every single time we're leaving. They're shuttering
Right.
the place up by the time we're walking out. Yep.
Exactly. Right. The way Animal Kingdom works for me now is a half day at the Nomad Lounge, a half day at the Dawa Bar, and then the next day I come back and do all the attractions.
Those are some fine attractions themselves. I'm just saying.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Listen to our earlier podcast. We talk all about the bars. So that's my number 2.
All right.
What do you got for me? What's your number 2?
My number two is a classic, I think. It's the American Adventure at the Epcot World Showcase.
Love it. Can I sing?
You can, absolutely.
Epcot. Golden Rings.
So, yeah. So the American Adventure is of course in the American Pavilion at Epcot. It's all the way in the back. It's the main pavilion in World Showcase, the host pavilion, if you will, and it's a like 30-minute multimedia presentation on the history of America, and it's got the most advanced animatronics. And the story as only Disney could tell it. It's like the Hall of Presidents, but way better, way better. If you'd like to know how this attraction was built, because it is technologically amazing. There's all these sets are on a thing they call the War Wagon, that each set rotates up and then back down again afterwards, and it's just unbelievable. And if you go to Martin's videos, excuse me,
have you taken the tour?
I have
the
not.
Actual tour, because you can take the behind the scenes tour of that.
No, I have not. I've not been back there. No.
You took it on YouTube, is what you're saying.
I've taken it on YouTube, exactly. But yeah, if you go to Martin's vids, I mean, he'll tell you exactly how the attraction works and about the development of the attraction. But basically, when Epcot was being built, these Imagineers were under the gun. They were coming, a lot of them were coming from California, and to build these attractions, and they were building everything from scratch, all the show controls and everything. I mean, they're not building it on the computers that we have nowadays. They were building it on some really primitive computers. And it's amazing. And there's a great book called Building a Better Mouse by Steve Alcorn and Dave Green. Those are two of the Imagineers that worked on this particular attraction, where you can get some insights on how chaotic it was and how under the gun they were, and how much they had to do to get this attraction up and running. And it's just it goes from the Revolutionary War to the Civil War to the 1876 Centennial Exposition. It's got Chief Joseph. It's got Frederick Douglass. So it touches on some of the darker moments in history, of American history, slavery. It touches on how we treated the Native Americans and how we took their land. So it doesn't really gloss over those, although some people think it does. I never really thought it did. I mean, these people are a big part of the show. And like I said, the animatronics are fantastic. I mean, I'll never forget the first time I went, it's not a ride, but I went to see this, and my father was with me. And when Will Rogers came out with his lasso, and my father was like, that's a person, right? That's a real person. No, Dad. No, that's an animatronic. No, that can't be. That's a real person. No, Dad, that's an animatronic. So, I mean, that's how good they are. I mean, Will Rogers comes out and he's twirling his lasso, and you'd be hard pressed to tell he's an animatronic. Ben Franklin and Mark Twain host it. They're the two hosts.
I love that.
Yeah. And they, Mark Twain smokes his cigar. You see the cigar light up. Ben Franklin walks up the stairs. They You know,
Yep.
when he speaks with Thomas Jefferson about writing the Declaration of Independence, and the music is fantastic, very
Yeah.
inspirational. You'll walk out of it proud to be American.
Yeah. Tears in
For
your
better,
eyes.
for better, for worse.
Yeah.
Tears in your eyes, right? Exactly.
Tears in your eyes.
Tears in your
Singing
eyes. Yeah, I mean,
America.
it's great, and and they have changed the ending. There's a montage movie that plays with the song at the end, and it shows a lot of different heroes. And over the years, they've changed it to reflect the current times, and it's just unbelievable. It's a huge show, and even the actual queue and the area where you go into the show is amazing. It's got all the flags that have ever been associated with the America or United States.
Cool.
There's a lot of great paintings. There's an exhibit that changes, which has historical documents and artifacts. There's a lot of quotes around, some from Walt Disney and other historical figures that are on the walls. And then as you're waiting, you can hear the Voices of Liberty, which if you never heard the Voices of Liberty, you really should hear them. They're amazing. A cappella group that plays in the American Adventure. And
They're amazing.
They are
were
really
lucky
amazing.
once we're
Yeah.
for when they changed out the different singers.
Yeah.
And the singers sing the other ones in from the top balcony. It was super cool. Like I had no idea that was happening. I was like, well, what's going on here? There was the other group was singing down to the group that was actually, it was amazing. Yeah, they are fantastic.
They're just amazing. They're really a great a cappella group. And if you haven't ever heard them, I mean, you're missing something.
Yeah.
Some of the great, but we've already talked about some of the entertainment around Epcot, and there's some of the Voices of Liberty are some of the best. And so that's it. That's why it's my number 2. Do you have anything to add?
Good one.
It is. And it's very often overlooked. I mean,
without a doubt,
as are a lot of the World Showcase attractions as we go from country to country, drinking around the world.
They're almost.
I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have to say they're almost like their own enemies, because the show, it's kind of a long show. There's no doubt about it. I've looked at it and been like, woof, but I bet you a lot of people look at it and be like, well, there's so much other things. There's so many other things to do. I don't want to spend a half hour on this.
I think it's actually more than a half hour. It might be closer to 35 or 35 minutes or so. And I think a lot of people are. It's an investment. It's a time investment. So if you see the Voices of Liberty and you wait for the show and you then actually see the show, you're talking about probably an hour of your time at Epcot.
So an hour, yeah.
Of your time at Epcot.
Awesome.
But I will say, if you haven't seen it, it's well worth it. It's well worth seeing because it's just a great. It's again, it's one of those shows that only Disney could put on. Yep,
I agree. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's a great show. One of the things that you were talking about the entertainment around, the American Pavilion there. I wish they, from what I understand, they got rid of the fife and drum corps.
Yeah,
that used to play out front. Yeah,
I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them in a while, but yeah, they were awesome. They were great. Yeah.
One of the reasons I like them the best, they always picked my daughter to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Or the
Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah, I have some good video of that. That's pretty funny. They introduced her to the group of people that were waiting for the for the doors to open up. It was kind of funny. They introduced her as the person who did the.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, of course she was like, she loved it. She's very shy. Yeah. Yeah. I missed that though. I thought that was really cool. That was a good addition to that area. So,
it was. Yeah. I do. I miss a lot of the entertainment that's kind of gone from World Showcase. I miss it a lot. We talked about the British Revolution and Off Kilter and
Off Kilter.
Yeah. And the drummers in Japan that are now unfortunately gone as well. Hopefully to return after COVID.
So, let's hope. Yeah.
I hope. Yeah. So that's it.
That was a good one. Yeah, that was really good.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I thought it was a good one.
Yeah. So I believe I'm up to my number one.
You are. We're up to your number one.
Yep. My number one overlooked attraction, although it doesn't feel like it recently, it seems like it's people have casted an eye upon this one recently because the lines for some reason have gotten longer, from what I understand. But it's the Tomorrowland Transit Authority.
Yes, absolutely.
Since as long as I've been going to the park, it's one of my all-time favorite parks. It's kind of like my attraction. Sorry, it's one of my must-dos. I have to go on the PeopleMover.
Yeah.
Probably a couple times, not just once.
Yeah.
Yep. I have a little write-up. It's changed names a bunch of times. It was formerly known as the Wedway PeopleMover.
Yep.
Which I thought this back when I was a kid, 1975-ish till 1994. It was the Wedway PeopleMover. Yeah. I thought, oh my gosh, this would be the best way to be moving around town.
Absolutely.
That was the dream that it was.
Well, that was why it was. That was Walt Disney's dream.
Yeah. Yep.
Wedway. Well, Wed is Walter Elias Disney, right? Wedway. Yep.
So from there, it changed name to Tomorrowland Transit Authority, 1994 until 2010. Urban mass transit PeopleMover system attraction, which is super cool. Basically, this is a ride that it rides on linear induction motors, pushes it along, and it travels around Tomorrowland. And there's certain spiels as it goes past a couple attractions.
Now approaching Mickey Star Traders.
I thought
that was my favorite.
Shop.
That was my favorite one.
I thought you were going to talk about Buzz Lightyear. It used to have an open window to Dream Flight, didn't it?
It did, and if you had wings and Dream Flight, and now it's Buzz Lightyear. Yep.
So listen to our previous podcast. We talk all about that.
Yep.
So basically, it's designed as an urban mass transit system of the future. Vehicles take passengers on a grand circle tour in the realm of Tomorrowland. It provides elevated views of several attractions.
Yep.
So it's a mile long almost.
Yeah. It's a long ride. It's a long ride. It is.
Maximum speed of 7 miles an hour. A lightning fast speed of 7 miles an hour.
Sometimes it feels faster than that.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially if another train is going by you.
I'm thinking that must be an average. It's got to be because it's
I think there are some times it has to go faster than 7 miles an hour.
Yeah. So it's got a cool backstory that, like, honestly, I don't think I knew. Like, I was. Do you know the backstory of this? The TTA's actual backstory? 1994 to 2009, it had this. It referenced a few different things. Were you aware of this? Well, so I wasn't.
Go ahead.
The Tomorrowland Transit Authority.
The Interplanetary Convention Center and all that other stuff. And, exactly.
Blue line, red line, green line. I'm sorry, the blue line, the red, and the green line. The blue line is the one that you actually ride, and it's the intra-city elevated train system.
Right.
The red line took people off planet to other galaxies, and the green line, local transportation to the hoverburbs. I love that.
The hover.
I remember the spiel, because there was like hoverburbs, because they talked about them as you were going along. But the hoverburbs, I love that.
That was my favorite Tomorrowland. That was my favorite.
That's mine too.
Without a doubt. When they had Space Mountain television and stuff like that, and there was a lot of humor in Tomorrow and Alien Encounter.
Alien Encounter, fantastic. Listen to one of our previous podcasts about that. I don't think I was as aware Me being much younger than you are.
Yeah, right. What, there's like 20 years between us, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but this is one of those again. I go to what like sort of the sedate rides where you could just
Mhm.
sort of relax and take a load off and get out of the hustle and bustle of
Yep.
what Magic Kingdom can sometimes be.
Yep.
And it's in and out of air conditioning, so I guess
Right.
there is some air
Mhm.
conditioned areas.
There's some. Yep.
Yeah, it's a relaxing, entertaining ride attraction that
Right.
you just sit on. Family attraction. Nothing scary. You get to see the insides of Space Mountain.
Right.
Sort
Well,
of see
not
not
anymore because it's so dark. But yeah,
Yeah.
you previously could preview
Used
Space
to be able
Mountain,
to.
which was
Yep.
it was one of the attractions for me when I was younger because it was like, okay, I got to before I ever rode Space Mountain, it's like,
Got to see it.
I gotta see it. I gotta see what it looks like first before I ever get on that thing.
Yeah.
So I remember riding it to see Space Mountain the first time I rode the PeopleMover. But yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, it is like the Walt Disney's vision of transportation of the future within cities, and there are some cities that have systems like this. I think Miami is one of them. But I think if every city moved people around as efficiently as Disney does, it would be a better world. That's for sure.
A lot less traffic, that's for sure.
So I think
awesome.
Disney probably does a better job of moving people around than most cities do. So it's a prototype of a transportation system, but it's also an attraction. Right now it's mostly an attraction.
Yeah.
And like you say, it used to be you just walk on it, but not anymore. There seems to be a line all the time. And
I don't know when that happened. Like all of a sudden, it's just people have found it to be a good an attraction worthy of their wait time.
Right.
Though the little maze before the inclined, whatever you want to call it, track that brings you up to the top used to never be filled ever.
The speed ramp. The Goodyear speed ramp.
The Goodyear speed ramp. Not Goodyear anymore. Yeah, Goodyear used to be the original. I think it was the original sponsor of that, right? Goodyear.
I don't know. I'm for some reason I thought Alamo Rent-A-Car was a sponsor at one time. I don't remember if Goodyear might have been the original sponsor. I'm not sure, but I know that they always had the speed ramp on. And it might be a leftover from the original sponsorship, right? And it would say Goodyear speed ramp, and I'm like, as if this is all over. That's another thing. If every place had a speed ramp instead of escalators, things might be better too.
Yeah, good point. Actually.
But I think Alamo Rental Car was.
I think you're right. Yeah,
that was a sponsor at one time, but Disney doesn't have too many sponsors for attractions anymore. But it's great, and especially during that period you were talking about with the red line and the green line and the blue line and the Interplanetary Convention Center, and that was right after the '94 Tomorrowland redo, and they had Space Mountain television, and there was a lot of details and humor along the way. But
Space Mountain television you can still hear on Convolution Radio occasionally.
I love Space. With Slater from Saved by the Bell, right? Mario Lopez.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It was so. I love waiting for Space Mountain, watching Space Mountain TV.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah,
it was funny.
And the loop was long enough that it didn't. It didn't.
It was
the same things over.
Yeah. It was almost an hour. Yeah, because by the time you got up there to see it, you weren't going to be waiting an hour. It was only in the last section of lines. But I love the PeopleMover, of course, and of course you get a preview of all of Tomorrowland too. That's another thing. I mean, not just Space Mountain. It goes through every attraction. It goes through Buzz Lightyear. It goes over the Grand Prix. You can even see Tron being built right now if you ride it. Yep, you get a great view of Tron. Yeah, so it's really the only way you're going to see Tron is if you ride the Tomorrowland Transit Authority or the PeopleMover. I think they call it PeopleMover.
It's the Tomorrowland Transit Authority PeopleMover now.
It is. Okay,
that's the actual name.
The long form name.
Yeah. You know what I didn't mention is you get to go past the actual diorama of what Epcot was supposed to be.
You do, exactly.
And that is really cool to see.
Vision of the future, the city of the future was, I think they call it the city of the future when they go by it. But that was what Epcot really was supposed to be, and that's the original. That's the original model. That's the actual model. Right. Yep.
Yeah, I think you can see that on like one of the ABC, Disney shows. I think they have somebody talking. It could be Walt Disney himself speaking in front of it.
I think it is Walt. I think it is Walt Disney himself speaking in front of it. That was his last. That was his last appearance on camera. Was that Epcot film where he talked about Epcot and what Epcot was going to be. And of course, what Epcot ended up being was completely different. But we never know what would have happened if Walt had lived. So unfortunately.
So when you're on the PeopleMover, make sure you make note of that as you go by. That's the actual diorama. Is that the model? Whatever you call it, the actual model of what Epcot was going to be.
So Gary taught you some history in Tomorrowland. There's the original Carousel of Progress that came from the World's Fair, the original model for Epcot. So there's history in Tomorrowland. There's history there. Right. It should be called Historyland.
Yep. Anyway, so there you go. That's my number one. It's great number. I don't miss it. I feel like if you're doing some vacation planning, you also should not miss it.
You should not miss it. And
in my humble opinion.
Yeah, even now with the line, like we said, we're talking about a line. The line moves fast because this thing loads constantly, and even if it's a long line, you're probably not going to wait more than 15 minutes for this. Yeah. Anyway, all right, so we're down to my number one.
Yeah, this is your number one.
This is it. My number one is Dinosaur from Dinoland in Animal Kingdom.
Interesting.
Opened in April 1998. The reason I picked this is because it just seems like it's always overlooked and overshadowed. It's in the back. It's tucked away.
It's
tucked away in the back of the park. People, for some reason, never talk about this, and I think it's just, to me, if we were to, I don't want to give away if we ever do a podcast. I'm sure we will. This is one of my top rides at Disney for sure. It's exciting.
It's fun.
It's scary. It's fun. It's got humor. It's got everything, and I know people compare it to Indiana Jones in Disneyland, and rightly so. But for some reason, I always feel like people even underestimate dinosaurs as a subject, not just like a theme park theme. Dinosaurs are so popular with kids. Dinosaurs are more popular than Indiana Jones.
Yeah, without a doubt. Dinosaurs are super pop.
When I was a kid, I loved dinosaurs. I'm sure you did too, and I think most young children love dinosaurs. Yeah. So it's Dinosaur is a dark ride. It's in Animal Kingdom in Dinoland. It was the only real thrill ride when Animal Kingdom opened. It was kind of I remember when I first time I went to Animal Kingdom was for cast member previews because my sister and my brother-in-law were working there at the time, and I remember waiting with my brother-in-law for this to open. Like we were, because they were opening it periodically. This was in cast member previews, and we were waiting. We're like, I can't wait to ride this, and it did not disappoint. And it's basically you are going back in time to rescue an iguanodon and bring it back into the present day. In the preview,
don't give away too much of the story, Joe. That ending. You just can't be so sure.
So you go in
It's the twist.
to the pre-show. Yeah, right. You go into the pre-show and you meet up with Dr. Grant Seeker, which is, I love, one of the greatest names ever. Grant Seeker for a paleontologist.
For a scientist. Grant Seeker.
And then Dr. Marsh, who is Felicia Rashad, and she says, you're going to go back to the early Cretaceous period, and you're just going to basically take a tour in
nothing
a time rover. Well, it's nothing to worry about. It's a time rover. Then you meet Dr. Grant Seeker, and Dr. Seeker tells you that he's tagged an iguanodon, and you're supposed to go bring that iguanodon back with you from the past, from the late Cretaceous, just before the asteroid that killed all life on Earth. Yeah. It's
enjoy your ride.
Enjoy your ride.
Yeah.
Right. So after that, you go and you wait in line for the ride. There's a short period. It is interesting. I think there's some pipes, and they have on them the formulas for like ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
Yeah.
You know why? You know why that is, right?
No, I don't.
The original sponsor for the ride.
Oh, the original sponsor was McDonald's.
McDonald's, yeah.
Yeah. The original sponsor was McDonald's. It was great, and they had some great posters outside. Have you had an Aluramas today or something like that?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Look for those pipes: the red pipe, the white pipe, and the yellow pipe. Yep, with the chemical makeup of those condiments. Yep, the condiment pipes.
So you, after you go past the condiment pipes, you load into your vehicles, and the vehicle for this ride is what Disney calls an EMV, Enhanced Motion Vehicle, and it's the same vehicle that is in the Indiana Jones adventure in Disneyland, which is very popular, much more popular than Dinosaur. They have the same exact track and the same exact ride. The ride path is exactly the same. Yep. People complain about Dinosaur because they say it has some dark moments where Indiana Jones is like constant. There's constantly stuff coming at you at Indiana Jones. It's one thing after another. But I think that the dark moments in Dinosaur, they really enhance the ride.
Yeah, it builds the excitement. No doubt about it. I totally agree.
I wouldn't mind if they added a couple more dinosaurs, but I think it really enhances the ride. Yeah, by the way, the ride used to be called Countdown to Extinction when it first opened. It was scarier then.
Wait, yeah, it was a lot. They toned it
scary. When a lot of people complained that there was that their children couldn't ride this ride. Of course, kids love dinosaurs. And I think the height limit was 44 or maybe even 48 inches. It was definitely higher than it is now. It's 40 inches now. And their children couldn't ride it. So they toned the ride down a little bit, made it less scary. And they changed the name to Dinosaur because Disney came out with a movie called Dinosaur, which also has an iguanodon, and the villains are kind of Aladar, and who is the iguanodon in the ride, and the villains are Carnotaurus, who is the villain in the ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
without a doubt, Joe, you were mentioning, like, without a doubt, the car used to throw you around. It was kind of a rough ride, no doubt about it. But I loved it. Like, it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and another thing that was different is that there's a couple of moments where the Carnotaurus comes at you. First of all, the first moment where you see the Carnotaurus, he was in your space. In fact, he was so in your space that you instinctively just kind of pull back, like you couldn't help yourself because he was so close. And then there was one time you encounter the Carnotaur where he kind of comes, you get stuck in the mud, your car gets stuck
spinning.
Your tires are spinning, you loss of traction, and he comes from the bushes on the side of you, and he really got in your space. I mean, again, you would be like this, moving away from him, and it was great. I mean, it was just awesome, and it's still a great ride. It is, but
even with them toning it down.
It's great, and in my opinion, I think it's better than Indiana Jones, but I think most people don't. But to me, I just think scary dinosaurs are scarier than poison darts and a rolling boulder.
So I will say, because I've ridden both numerous times, I will say that they don't compare. Just because they have the same track and the same ride vehicle,
they're different rides. They're
absolutely different rides.
Right, and I think that's unfair that Dinosaur is always compared to it.
I agree. Yep, just because it has the same, car, the same the same track, it does not make it the same ride, So
right.
Yep. Well.
Yeah, and I'm
out.
Again, I was going to say again, if you want to go to Martin's vids, he has a great video about the history of this attraction and a lot of the original effects that were, like I talked about going on the cast member preview, because this ride did change. And there are things that were not working for a long, and that's another thing about Dinosaur. There were some effects that were not working for a long time. So there's like some the compies. We'll just call them compies.
The name is about that long.
that jump over your car. They were not working for a long time. I believe they got those working again. There's some pterodactyl.
The other dinosaur.
Yeah, the Aluramus. Yeah, eating the other dinosaur. That wasn't working for a while. There was quite a few things that they fixed, and it's a great ride. It's got a great ending.
It's funny you're mentioning this though, because it's almost like in I'm shooting from the hip here, but it's almost like Disney didn't even respect this ride. Like, it's underrated for even Disney. You know what I mean? They're just leave it.
They're constantly talking about changing it and making it into Indiana Jones and stuff like that. And it's like, no, I think it should be left the way it is. If anything, it should be maybe ramp it up, toss a couple more dinosaurs in, open some other stuff for the kids, and make this scarier again. It's and even after you get off the ride, there's the video of when I won't spoiler, you rescue the iguanodon, you bring him back. And he's like wandering around the Dino Institute, and it's like you could sit there and watch it because there's all these security guys coming out looking for him. Dr. Marsh is looking for him. Dr. Seeker, they're all walking around, and he's walking back and forth, and it's pretty hilarious.
It is hilarious. Yeah,
it's pretty hilarious. So this attraction is completely underrated. And like Gary said, I think even Disney underrates this attraction, because as much as I like some of the other attractions at Animal Kingdom, like I said, this attraction would be in one of my top attractions at Disney World. And as a matter of fact, I used to go with my niece a lot. This is probably her favorite attraction at Disney World. So it's
my daughter's still scared of
it. Yeah, a lot of people are scared of it. I know some people are like, it's too loud. Some people say it's too loud. Their ears hurt after they go on it because it is loud.
My daughter does not love those jump out scares. Like
the jump scares.
Yeah, jump scare. Yeah, and there's a big one in that one.
Oh yeah.
They're blowing, lights flashing.
There's a few. I mean, and like I say, they're enhanced by the dark, the periods of darkness, because it also enhances the out of control feeling that you get when you're riding it, because you don't know where you're going, you don't know where your vehicle's going, and these vehicles, they're called enhanced motion because they kind of roll back and forth, and move forward. So it's a great ride. If you go to Martin's vids and see his video, you'll see how the vehicles work. It's pretty cool.
Last time I was on the ride with Joe, we got stuck for a while.
Yeah.
I was starting to think we were going to have one of the lights on, walk off. They did turn on the lights, which was kind of cool because we stopped right next to one of the dinosaurs. He just dinosaur that's holding up the tree. Duck-billed dinosaur.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not as good at dinosaur names as you are. You did better homework.
Well,
Every
the
week
dinosaur
out there
holding
for
up
like 10
the tree
minutes.
is the iguana. It's the iguanodon,
Oh,
actually.
it's the iguanodon. Oh,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
that was
yeah,
the one that
yeah.
we were stopped next to.
Yeah, yep.
Using two of them. Yeah, this one was
Yep.
a duck-billed one, right? He's orange. I know now because the lights were on and we stared at him for probably.
Duck-billed dinosaurs are myosaurs, I think.
The
I don't know. I'm not a kid anymore.
yeah. Oh, I used to know them all. I swear. Like,
Although
yeah,
I do watch Jurassic Park a lot.
such a good movie.
Awesome.
I remember the women behind us were freaking out, and they were
Yeah.
starting to make my daughter nervous because
Yeah.
they started getting nervous. I'm like, what? These things are not going to come to life, though.
No.
That has happened in other
they're,
movies.
They're animatronic. They're not coming to life.
Maybe not.
But
Maybe they're just really well
yeah.
trained.
Good dinosaur. Good dinosaur.
So that's it. That was a good
That's
number
it.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought so too. I thought so.
Yeah.
And your number one was great. All yours were great.
Yeah.
I agree. They could have all made my list.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this was a tough one, and
Yeah, this was tough.
my list went through a lot of different iterations before I fell on these, and I don't even really feel like these are definitely the top five, but I'm not sure if they're tomorrow they'll be the same top five. You know what I mean?
Well,
like next
see.
week I'll be the same.
I'm looking here. I could tell you exactly what other ones I had here. Let's see. Enchanted Tiki Room, of course.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, Carousel of Progress was on my list.
Enchanted Tiki Room was on my list.
TTA or PeopleMover on my list. Muppet Vision 3D, which I think is underrated. Yeah. So yeah, my list was basically your list, but if we did a top 10, my list would have had pretty much everything that's on your list.
Pretty funny. So that was it. Those are our top five lists.
Yep.
You think of anything else?
I can't.
Joe?
I can't. No, I can't. That's it. That's it for today. I'm trying to think of anything beyond what we said. And I have nothing.
Covered it pretty well.
I have nothing. Yeah. I'm almost done with my drink. I made it last. It's a good thing I made it double because we talk.
Next time I'm going to be making two.
One side by side.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It looked like your drink was empty. Now it's full again.
Hey, magic.
What the heck happened here?
Magic. So that's it. That's it. Shall we wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Our
first video podcast. Hopefully, hopefully, our faces. We can do something with our faces.
I don't know. I know what can be done, Gary. I'm sorry. Maybe with yours,
Next
not
time,
mine.
more makeup. That's all. Let's.
Elvis is gonna leave the building. All right. Well, if we're wrapping it up, I'm going to give my usual wrap up. As always, and especially during these times, remember everybody to enjoy every sandwich.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good closing. Enjoy every sandwich. Make sure you send us email, rate us, like us, subscribe on all those media places.
Comments. Emails. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what you think. We want you to, if you have any suggestions, stop the video podcast. I can't stand to look at your faces. Whatever.
Get different faces. Yeah, that's it. All right, we're out.
All right.
Enjoy every sandwich, and we'll talk soon.
All right, Gary.
Take it easy, Joe.
Take care.
So you're saying that you think maybe from your perspective now, do you know something about life and death that maybe I don't know now?
Not unless I know how much you're supposed to enjoy every sandwich. Mm-hmm.